Hello and welcome to Granada Reports. I've got the Grand National Trophy with me tonight. Here's what's coming up.
Cheers!
Ladies' Day is never a letdown. It's been a time for fun and frocks in the sunshine. We're looking at efforts to keep horses safe, how to make sure those glamorous outfits get more than one wear, looking ahead to the weather and the going for tomorrow.
I'll be checking out the forecast for the big race and how it affects the ground tomorrow at Aintree.
And we'll have the rest of the day's news and sports from the studio. Well, a very good evening to you and welcome from Aintree. Yes, Ladies' Day draws to a close, a prelude to the biggest steeplechase in horse racing anywhere in the world, the Grand National tomorrow. Well, there certainly wasn't a Ladies' Day 187 years ago during the first Grand National race, but we are celebrating tonight by hearing from some of the thousands of women here today. We're also going to be talking about the world of fast fashion, and if you are placing a bet tomorrow, we're going to be hearing from Neil Phillips, who's also known as the wine tipster. So lots to come on tonight's programme. But every year concerns a race about the welfare of the true stars of this three-day meeting, the horses. So we begin tonight with this report from David Chisnell. He's been to one stables in Cheshire with two horses racing in tomorrow's Grand National, looking at all the efforts to keep those horses safe.
Up towards the final 150 yards.
Nick Rockett romping home to win last year's Grand National at Aintree.
And up towards the line, it's Nick Rockett's Grand National.
Finishing behind him in fourth on his debut was the horse Rocco, trained in Cheshire at the yard of Oliver Greenhall and Josh Guerrero. This year he's back and is being joined by his giant stablemate Jaguar.
Just to have one with a chance is an incredible thing, but to have two going there with a massive chance is amazing. For a yard like ours, we're not very big yard really, we're quite a medium-sized yard, so we're just very lucky to have them.
What kind of characters are the two of them like?
Yeah, they're both very different actually. Rocco's pretty straightforward, laid back, generally is very sensible and easy, whereas Jaguar's like a big sort of stroppy teenager almost. Jaguar would beat Rocco every day of the week at home, but you get them on the racecourse over a trip or a distance, it's always a different story.
What we are here to do is maybe give you a little bit extra that you didn't know.
Ahead of the Grand National Festival, staff at the yard have been given enhanced racehorse welfare training.
So we're looking for footfall. See, does that seem abnormal?
The session run by Equied and funded by the Jockey Club is part of a nationwide scheme to improve knowledge of the animals and prevent race day injuries.
I've actually really enjoyed it and thought it was really interesting. It's just being more aware of things, because you don't want it to get to the point where maybe they're having to have time off for it, maybe like the saddle's not fit quite right, but they've been ridden in it for a few days now and now they're really sore.
I've worked in racing for a few years and some things you don't actually know, so it's good to actually know. Every day's a learning day. They're such special animals, they're so smart, they're like your friends in a way. I would do anything for them.
What could be one reason a horse interfering with your horse in a race that would not be bad luck? Eyes are on racing and we all need to do better. To improve welfare, we have to focus on the people that are with these horses every day, and we have to make changes from the ground up. If we can make a small change to prevent one of these horses being injured, that's a win for us.
Well, the welfare of racehorses is always a contentious issue, with animal rights campaigners saying the best way to protect them is to ban jump racing altogether.
Last year, 192 horses died on British racecourses. Now, somebody has to be accountable. The best way to look after horses' welfare is to remove the British Horse Racing Authority from their remit of horse welfare regulator. And what we would like to see is that organisation and the Jockey Club brought under the remit of the Animal Welfare Act, so that we can actually take measures to protect horses on racecourses.
Everyone who works with animals or keeps animals, and that includes the regulators like the British Horse Racing Authority, are governed by the Animal Welfare Act. Importantly for us, our rules require an even higher level of care for the horses than the Animal Welfare Act that governs all animals in this country. We require a higher level through the rules of racing.
With a global audience of around 600 million, despite the controversy, the Grand National remains one of the most iconic horse races in the world. David Chisnell, ITV News.
Well, just to emphasise all those points in David's report there, and sadly today we did lose a horse. Golden Dancer had just won a race but sustained a really serious injury and couldn't be saved, and our thoughts goes out to all the people who were involved in with Golden Dancer. The debate about horse welfare does continue. Well, we are going to move on now to one of the other themes of Ladies' Day, that is fast fashion, wearing clothes once, buying them and then dumping them, wearing them just the once time for occasions such as this. So next tonight we're going to have a look at how the world of vintage clothing is turning fast fashion into sustainable style. Mike Hall has this report.
Cheers! For so many on Merseyside, it's the most important date in the diary. Racegoers search for weeks, in some cases months, for that perfect dress for Ladies' Day. It can be a costly affair for an outfit which may only be worn once. And that's where Ali Mangan comes in. Just up the road in Formby, she buys and sells second-hand clothes. An idea born following the death of her mum Pat 6 years ago.
You do have to do those awful things and go through the wardrobes. And I would say 90% of my mum's clothes was sustainable from a charity shop. And it also made me think of all of those missed hours where she loved going through a charity shop and, you know, searching for things. And I would say, OK, Mum, I'll meet you in a minute. And I wouldn't go in with her. And I think all of those missed opportunities to spend that special time with her.
And why wouldn't you go in with her?
A bit of snobbery, maybe, you know, that I don't want to shop in there without realising that, oh my God, I am missing out on the best clothes.
So much is spent on dresses. Sometimes those dresses will be worn just once. Yeah. I'm guessing that is a real driver for you. This is why you do this.
Yeah, for sure. The dresses that I've got, some of them are older than me. And that's what I love as well, the history. Because you think, how many times has this dress been worn, and how many secret kisses has it witnessed, and how many times has it been twirled across a dance floor, and different things like that. It's got life, it's got soul. How are you?
I can't wait to see what you've found.
Helen Scott Allen never misses the Grand National. Discovering Ali's boutique has been a game changer.
I mean, even when I think in the past, I've spent like £500 a day per outfit, and now I've probably spent 150 for the 3 days.
In total?
In total, and I know the pieces look just as good as anything on the high street. It's something that's come up in projects for my kids at school. You know, they've seen the landfill of piles of clothes, and it's something that it's a good lesson that I'm teaching my kids.
I do think now people are shopping more sustainably and using common sense and realising that they can look just as good in a vintage or pre-loved outfit.
And here's the proof, as today, Ali and Helen were joined at Aintree by more environmentally conscious customers.
There's millions spent on Ladies' Day and outfits and stuff, so it's nice to see, you know, vintage and just help reduce waste in clothing, really. It's just all recycled, so it's obviously when you're paying for it, you feel like you're actually helping the environment in the best way you can.
When you look around and you see your outfits here at Aintree on Ladies' Day, that must be a really proud moment.
Really, really proud. We're helping our children and their children. It's keeping that landfill down. You know, it's so important.
Ali's work has been recognised with the inaugural Randox Grand National Women in Business Award, all from a hobby inspired by her late mum. She'd be very proud. Mike Hall, ITV News.
Yeah, always good to see people doing their bits, but that is it from me, from Aintree for now. But in a moment, we're going to be talking to somebody who combines the two worlds of wine tasting and betting, so you do want to stay tuned for now. But for now, let's cross over to the studio to Vicky with the rest of the day's news and sports. Hello to you, Vicky.
Thanks, Kamal. That sounds great, doesn't it? Wine tasting, fabulous. Very good evening to you from the studio. Now for today's news and sport. And first, an inquest being told that a woman who founded one of our region's top public relations firms was killed by a branch falling from a tree in South Manchester. Jen Higgins was a joint managing director of Carousel PR. Our reporter Emma Sweeney was at the inquest and is here with us now tonight. And Emma, this was just a real tragedy on a beautiful summer's day.
Yeah, Yeah, that's right, Vicky. We were told today in court that Jen had gone for a walk along with her husband, and they were walking down Ballamore Road in West Didsbury when Mr Higgins described hearing a large crackling noise, and before they had any time to react, they were both hit with a branch from a falling tree, and that tree was on private property. Now, an off-duty nurse came to try and help, and the emergency services were called, but Mr Higgins told the court today that his wife died there on the pavement on a warm, pleasant evening. The court today heard from a senior tree surgeon. He had been asked to go and inspect the site after this tragedy, and he said that the site from where the branch had fallen had actually suffered from significant decay. He said that it had been inappropriately topped some 15 to 25 years before that. That's well before the current owners had moved in, and that as well as that, it had some aggressive fungus in the tree. Now, to his eye, he would be able to tell that this tree wasn't in great condition, but crucially, to the untrained eye, they would be none the wiser, and that's because the decay had taken place inside the actual tree itself. Now, today we heard from the property owner in court. He started by offering his condolences to Mrs Higgins' family, and he said that when they first moved in, they had a survey done of the house. It was just a general survey. That didn't show up any issues, and he said that they also asked a tree surgeon to come round because they wanted to trim back some of those trees to let a little bit more light in. But none of that work went ahead because they were unsure as to whether or not they were in a conservation area. Today, the court was told that they weren't in that area. Now, the coroner today told the court that it wasn't her place, it wasn't within her remit to decide any fault or any blame. Her remit was to decide on how an individual died. And she said that Jen died from suffering from multiple chest injuries. She said that this was nothing short of a tragic and a devastating accident that occurred on that day.
Yeah, it certainly was. Thanks so much, Emma. Well, next tonight, police in Manchester and London are to be given an extra £5 million to pay for more patrols around places of worship. The Home Office funding follows a terror attack on a synagogue in Manchester last October and an alleged arson attack on Jewish ambulances in the capital. It will use specialist officers trained to identify suspects preparing to commit serious crimes. Manchester Village Pride has signed an agreement to protect drag and burlesque performers at the newly founded festival. The deal with the union Equity comes after the collapse of Manchester Pride last year, which left dozens of performers out of pocket. It includes 30-day payment periods and makes sure that no performers will be asked to work for free. Our Chester Zoo is celebrating the birth of 3 giant otter pups. They're the first of their kind to be born there for several years. First-time parents Bonita and Manu welcomed 2 boys and a girl as part of an international conservation effort to save the endangered species. There's fewer than 5,000 surviving in the wild. Now on to a huge weekend of sport, and starting with the boxing, and Morecambe heavyweight Tyson Fury says he expects to fight for a world title by the end of this year. The former world champ comes out of retirement this weekend when he fights Russian opponent Arslanbek Makhmudov at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow night. It's his first fight in 16 months and the 5th time he's come out of retirement.
Make no mistake, when I walk away every time from boxing, I have zero intentions of returning. However, after a few months, I'm like bored of the normal life. Dropping the kids off at school, taking the dog for a walk, that sort of stuff. To come back to England and fight here in a stadium at Tottenham Hotspur, let's hope I do a lot better than Tottenham are doing right now, because they're shocking at the minute.
Golf now, and Southport's Tommy Fleetwood continues his challenge at the Masters tonight. He teed off for his 2nd round at Augusta National just a few minutes ago, after ending day 1 inside the top 10 on the leaderboard with a round of 1 under par, 4 shots off the lead. On to football now, and Liverpool boss Arne Slot says he has the support of the club's owners despite speculation about his future. The head coach's positions come under scrutiny after his team, who are currently sitting 5th in the Premier League, was knocked out at the FA Cup and lost the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final. But Slot says the owners and the fans are behind him.
We went to the away end and they were still singing for us and clapping for us, so that support we felt constantly. And I think, but I've said this many times as well, the club knows in which period of time we are in, and in the meantime, I feel complete support. Yes.
And Stockport County head to Wembley this weekend with their eyes on the silverware. They take on Luton Town in the final of the EFL Trophy, and it might not be their only game at the National Stadium this season. Chris Hall reports.
Wembley hasn't always been a venue County could count on. They've lost on 5 of their 6 visits, including back-to-back League Trophy finals in the 90s. But with a place in the League One playoffs almost secured, they could get 2 chances to change their luck.
We've been on a great journey. It's been special to play a part in that, and the reason why I came here was to be successful and win things, and it's a massive opportunity to do that. So yeah, it'd be lovely if we can get that trophy and then hopefully a double with the playoffs as well, which will be nice.
Being a great striker is all about being alert. How alert are you at the moment? Because you've got a newborn, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
How's that going?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it's only been a week, but it feels like it's been a lifetime, to be honest. But yeah, beautiful baby girl. I'm so happy, and I hope I can score and bring a nice little celebration out for her and the family, which will be great.
Hoping to deliver his 3rd trophy for Stockport is manager Dave Challoner. His last visit to Wembley was County's playoff defeats 3 years ago, but he has won the FA Trophy there with Fylde and played in a League Cup final with Tranmere.
To go, I suppose, back there with this club is great. Obviously the last one ended in disappointment, and we hope to right some wrongs this time, if you like. But it'll be a brilliant occasion, and like I say, one that you have to embrace, because although we're positive and hopeful of getting back there, you never know when that does or doesn't happen.
Of course, the manager's been there a few times. What's he shared with you? Any experiences or bits of advice to get through the day?
Nothing.
He does, though, know plenty about Luton's manager. Jack Wilshere was an Arsenal icon to Joseph when he was a young gunner.
Even till today, all of the young boys coming through still get compared to Jack Wilshere because he came through the same way a lot of those boys aspire to come through.
Were you an Arsenal fan as a kid?
So this might be a bit controversial. I was an Arsenal fan very early on until Thierry Henry left. That kind of upset me, and then I switched over to Manchester United. So you keep that one a bit quiet. But I've been a couple times to watch Arsenal play in the FA Cup semi-final and the final. You don't always get the chance to go to Wembley. Some players haven't been before, like myself. I haven't been my first trip, and it will definitely be a special one, I believe.
It's the first time ever an English Cup final has featured teams with the same nickname. Could the Battle of the Hatters finally see Stockport and Wembley become a perfect fit? Chris Hall, ITV News.
Oh, well, let's hope it's a win for that gorgeous new little baby. Good luck, Stockport. Well, it is time to say goodbye from me here in the team at Media City, and hello again to Gamal at a very sunny Aintree. Gamal.
Hello again, Vicky. Yes, hello again. Well, as I've already said, this year's Ladies' Day is drawing to a close, which means that we're now less than 24 hours away from the world-famous steeplechase, and it will get underway just a few hundred yards from where I'm standing now. And I do think it's fair to say that this year's Grand National is going to be particularly special for the McCain family. The grandson of Ginger McCain, who famously was a trainer of the 3-time winner Red Rum, will be riding his first ever Grand National. Toby McCain Mitchell will be on board top of the bill, and he'll be carrying a good luck charm, a lock of hair from the mane of the legendary Red Rum.
Really special, really special. He didn't do too bad, did he? So it can't do any harm anyway. It was certainly the race I always aimed for, and hoped to one day get a spinning, and it came a little sooner than I expected, but yeah, we'll give it a good go anyway.
What do you think your granddad would make of this?
Yeah, I think he'd be over the moon. He'd certainly get a kick out of seeing me riding it. Yeah, just try and do him proud, yeah.
Well, I am now delighted to be joined by one person who knows a thing about betting, who in fact has managed to combine the two worlds of wine tasting and betting. The wine tipster, as you're also known, Neil Phillips. Lovely to see you. What's it like being back at Aintree for you?
Oh, fantastic, Emma. I haven't slept. I'm not sleeping. I'm so excited. You know, I mean, I wanted to be a horse racing commentator originally, and what I used to commentate on when I was a young boy was at the Grand National, and I followed Red Rum, and the fact we have the Red Rum Garden here as well. You know, he made the Grand National for me, and I love the story with McCain's for tomorrow as well, with top of the bill. That's brilliant.
Tell us what it's like being at Aintree for this incredible event that happens every year.
Oh, it's fantastic, because I think the way everything's developed over the years, look, you've got great racing, you've got something unique, as we know, with the Grand National course, but also the whole setup at Aintree is brilliant. And the thing for me as well, the background sound now, the atmosphere, the choice of food everybody's got as well. I'm very interested in food, by the way.
That's well, it's good. Come on,
we'll go get some food afterwards. We still can. But I just love that as part of what I do. And now you just have, you've got the Pan Asian restaurant for the first time this year, which is great, fantastic. I was there this morning. I have to just share that with everybody. But also street food as well, you know, with Box Park, all of that, all the choice. It's like coming to a fantastic food festival. The style, the fashion, you know, it's all brilliant as well, and the choices of drinks as well. All goes together.
Everyone wants to know about the betting, so what tips can you give us?
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. This is going to, you might say this is going to be a bit cheesy actually, but I think it'd be good for a Friday, it'd be fine. I think let's have a couple of drink-related names actually. I'm going to go for, in terms of the National tomorrow, Gorgeous Tom, think about the Tom Collins cocktail. Do you like that?
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
Okay. He's wishing he was here. Don't you? But I think also as well, I think actually Gorgeous Tom, in all seriousness, he's been placing a lot of good chases this season. Henry de Bromhead, good trainer. I also think Final Orders. He won at Cheltenham over the cross-country course. We've had an extra week this year between Cheltenham and the Grand National. Very important for the horses there. And I think if he turns out and runs like that again, he could have a big chance tomorrow for me.
You were also saying to me that this year's quite an open race.
Yeah, I think it is. For everybody, everybody's going to be wanting to have a tip out there and have a bet tomorrow and have a look at some of the each-way prices. I think that's where the couple of horses I mentioned there, about 25 to 1. Much more open than recent renewals, I think. So could be some surprises tomorrow for me. Great renewal for me.
Neil, many thanks indeed for your time. Neil Phillips, also known as the wine tipster. Enjoy the day tomorrow. Well, time now for a look at the weather. A massive day tomorrow, and the person who has all the details is Emma. Hello to you, Emma. What have you got for us?
Hi, Gamal. Well, I've just been being a little bit reflective up here. Horse racing is pretty much the only sport where the weather is crucial to every single aspect of the sport, to the training, to the running, to the betting. So all eyes are on the forecast, especially in the run-up to a big meet like this. It really is absolutely crucial so they can prepare the track accordingly, and it looks absolutely magnificent. I think you'll agree. Now, the clerk of the course, in this case at Aintree, Suleika Varma, decides the going, the state of the ground, but she doesn't make that decision alone, and that's where my guest comes in, Mike Mayer from Turf Tracks. Now, Mike, welcome. We go back a long way, but just tell our dear viewer what you do, what your job is.
So we deploy a number of pieces of technology around the track, including a weather station down by the Grand National start. There's some moisture sensors which are in the ground, and also the going stick which we use to measure the softness and firmness of the track. What that's told us over the last couple of days is that we've been on optimum conditions. Good to soft ground, good to soft with good in places today, and tomorrow of course will depend on the weather and how much rain we get.
It will indeed, very much. We are expecting some rain overnight. Will there be any watering involved tonight?
There's going to be some selective watering overnight, because that will just help to keep the ground in those optimum conditions, and then any rain on top of that will help as well.
And I know you love your probabilities. There's a 40% probability of showers tomorrow, but they will be very well scattered. Quick look at your going stick, if I may.
Yeah. So this is what we use to measure it. It mimics what the horse's hoof does when it's in contact with the ground, measures penetration and shear, and gives us a number on here which helps Suleika and her team.
Fabulous, thanks. Let's take a look at the forecast straight from the horse's mouth.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Still lots of revellers around, as you can hear, and plenty of April showers in the forecast this weekend, along with some bright spells or even sunny spells, feeling noticeably colder, especially after the recent warmer spell, and it will be windy at times. That could impact the big race tomorrow. Talking of Aintree more specifically for tomorrow, well, overnight tonight we have this band of rain sweeping in from the west, so turning wet and windy for everyone. A question mark over how quickly it's going to come in. A little wave developing along it, could be faster, could be slower, but for now we think that the heaviest rain for Aintree will fall between 3 and 6 o'clock this morning, 5 to 10 millimetres max. That will clear to sunny spells and showers by the time racing starts at 12:45, and by the time the Grand National starts at 4 o'clock, gusts of 35, 40 miles an hour, especially in those showers from the southwest, which could particularly impact horses and riders as they come into that final run in. A bit of a headwind there. Taking the bigger picture for all of us, we have that rain, the wet and windy weather overnight tonight, sweeping west to east, gusts of 45, 50 miles an hour in the Isle of band peaking at 55 miles an hour tomorrow in exposure. Overnight tonight, temperatures holding up because of all the cloud and rain. So then we're into Saturday morning. It's a cold start to the day. The wind starts to really get up as the afternoon wears on. Sunny spells and showers, and more showers to come for the second part of the weekend. Blustery showers overnight Saturday into Sunday. Not too cold Sunday morning first thing. By the time we get through to Monday morning, it is going to be a bit colder. There will still be some showers around on Monday. Tuesday looks like being a better day, but the next system's on its way in from the southwest later on. That's it for now. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Well, that is it from Aintree, and as the punters head home or head into town, everyone here is getting ready for this racecourse's biggest day of the year. Heroes will be celebrated, history will be made. It's going to be a great Grand National as ever. From me and the team here at Aintree, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.